Hello, my name's Kelli McGowan, and I just am here to take a couple minutes of your time to share miracle news and information, and to update my story. I haven't done a YouTube or a talk in a long time, but I'm going to be doing more and more. Healing is just a side effect, and I've been wildly impressed with the miracles that have come into my life since I got diagnosed with behavioral variant of frontal temporal dementia, and then demonstrated all the symptoms of the cousin disease, which it branches out often into a lot of other diseases. And I got the deluxe the deluxe brand of the ALS version, cousin. And I never expected to live. And when I was sent to palliative care and chronic care conditions, and they told me this is the most heinous disease known to man. And I was in hospice when this Sylvia, this Dreamweaver filmmaker lady, zero budget documentary, asked me to do a little thing on Qigong, and I didn't even think I'd be alive. By the time that retreat rolled around, we were really in the, putting me down in July, and the retreat was in April, and I just want to spend the last couple of months with my granddaughter and my daughter before I departed. So, this is after being studied for 2 years at UCSF and having all the neurological testing and, 14 hours of neuropsych testing, and just, study and taking all kinds of different stuff at Kaiser, including being prescribed. Like, I think I'm the only person in the world that I know of that was completely catatonic. I had no word finding, and I had visual recognition problems, and I had 14 hours of neuropsych testing where I had severe impairments on everything, and I couldn't track what people were saying. I couldn't recognize words. I didn't know what one word meant, and I was an avid reader my whole life and really wildly active in the world, and everyone said I lived to the max and in bold print. I was always in service to others through suicide prevention, hospice, Center for Attitudinal Healing. I was vice president of the Center for Inner Peace for 15 years. I studied the Course in Miracles since the 80s and organized many groups, and was deeply involved with that, and 12 steps for over 30 years, helping people in that way. And also did a lot with all different, Landmark Forum, and Byron Katie and Neil Donald Walsh, and hosted Gary Renard and Marianne Williamson, and just deeply involved in the healing world and helping our collective develop. So when I got diagnosed with frontal temporal dementia, I went from being just a light beam in the world, and really just sparkled and shined, to despicable and really inappropriate, and incontinent, and couldn't cook, I lost sequencing and multitasking, and I couldn't care for myself. I had full-time care, and I couldn't cut food or cook food, or I caught myself on fire. So anyway, you can get an idea. I destroyed my life and everything that I loved, all my, beautiful belongings and everything. I broke everything that came into my hands. I was like a bowling ball in a china cabinet. And here I am. I was diagnosed at 48, and I thought I was going to be dead in my 50s, and that would have been a relief. Like I said, they put me on Airsipt and Namenda and the Esalen patch, and they said that it was contra, but it's the only thing that they had that could possibly help. And I was working with Judy Flipoff from the Alzheimer's Association and a bunch of different people, and that they didn't even have support groups, and that's why I started doing the advocacy, because I had to wait for a couple of years, I think, in order for them to get 4 people to be supportable enough to have a support group in the Alzheimer's Association. So that was the only thing that they gave me when I got diagnosed, was to contact the Alzheimer's Association. It was 1-2 year wait. So that's how I started. I wanted to break the stigma. So I ended up doing a Marin IJ article, Marin Independent Journal, got headlines of that newspaper in Marin County, California, and 4 pages on the inside about the diagnosis and trying to really create awareness, but more break the stigma so people could get some support. Because I could tell you a lot of stuff about what happens when people get diagnosed, and a lot of stories of transformation from, people just dropping out of your life the minute that you have a diagnosis. And I wanted the people that were getting diagnosed and their families to find another way, because I had done so much volunteering for a Center for Attitudinal Healing with Jerry Jampolsky in that group. And, it only made sense that people could, most people with Alzheimer's and dementia, FTD gets you young. That's what Bruce Willis just got taken out. It's really aggressive and rapid, and you're very quick, and a very ugly, mean disease. And so when you're diagnosed with these things, there's a lot more to heal in life than just regular stuff, because people even just, cut out even the families and the caregivers and stuff like that. So there's a way to really transform and heal all of that. So through my journey through this Qigong with this zero budget filmmaker, I've been on a journey my whole life to really, be a seeker and to develop. And so it was music for me, and I didn't ever have an attachment. And along with not having an attachment to any outcome, so many miracles I have to share, and so many different types of practice, and so many, Zhineng Qigong is an entirety healing, and it's like a diamond. There's many, many facets. Some of it is, cleaning up your reference framework, your reactive modes, and your thinking, and your daily habits, and moving energy, and there's just so many facets to this entirety healing, and I have a lot to share. And I'll show you one thing. For example, like, I've never been expected to heal kidneys. You're told kidney failure, once you have stage 1, 2, and 3, like I've had, you will never be able to reverse your kidneys. Well, I wasn't planning on reversing my kidneys, but I just want to show you my latest kidney function test. Whoop, there it is. You could see that I was down here in stage 2 and 3, and now I'm up here, and that's the kidney function of like a 19-year-old. So I've also cured chronic autoimmune hives and gastroparesis, and I've got a whole sheet. You can look at energyhealing.com, and I don't even remember a lot of them because it's been such a such a shit show, really. But it's been a miracle show too. And so every time I get down and crash and have a purification, I insist it's purification, and boom, 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 I come back even better. So why am I telling you about all this now? Well, because I've been on this journey long enough to know that I have to start sharing my story again. I was asked not to for a while, and just really do the healing and get the foundation, and I've been doing that for a long, long time. I've been in one program. I did a 7-year program in 4 years with one teacher, and did that 8 hours, 10 hours a day. It was my pain pills. If I took pain pills, I'd be catatonic like I was on Esalen and Menda. Any of those things would land me in bed for over a month, and I don't know anyone that's ever come back to talk about it. So I want to talk about it. But kind of skipping around here, I'm just so excited to share with you that I had a serious accident in last January, so it's almost been a year. And the shoulder is still in a delayed union, but they wanted, of course, to have me do a shoulder replacement and a rotator cuff tear. I have done this all medicine-less, the whole thing, from the first day since I got home. The day I was in the hospital, they definitely injected me with a couple of injections because my whole body was flailing, and broken ribs, and this shoulder bone was broken in 3 places, and lots of other damage besides. Anyway, I did the whole thing medicine-less, and the minute that it happened, I've been so good at training my reactive mode and my reference framework. I said, this is for the highest good, and I just kept on doing classes every day, and that was my medicine. And so when I was doing the 8 hours a day or more through this first teacher that I worked with, It was just my pain pill, and the pain is less and less and less. So during this whole time after this e-bike accident that I had last January that I'm still healing from, I've gotten complete range, and they said with everything you have going on, you shouldn't have range. So my only medicine I did was Zhineng Qigong and the PT. I do the PT every other day at least, and in the beginning for the first 8 months, every day. So what am I trying to share? So during this time when I was, I had brain scans and I've met with hundreds of doctors. I had a whole snowball of things that happened after the accident. Just kept insisting it's a purification, it's purification. And the neurologist said, I really think we can change your diagnosis. So he wants me to come back and do more testing, which I don't, when I get too tangled up in the doctor, it makes me go down a different rabbit hole that doesn't produce real healthy improvements for me. But to have him say, to really acknowledge, I think we could change your diagnosis. I'm certain if I went and got a scan, they may not see new neural pathways, or the scar tissue may still be there, but I can definitely pass the 14 hours of neuropsych testing a little bit better. I can read, I can remember what a word is now, and I can understand what you're saying, remember what you're saying most time. Like, I couldn't remember what you said a second later. I couldn't remember when I was reading, what did I just read? I was an avid reader, that's all I did before. So the contrast is just amazing. So I also just went to this other doctor, I think a rheumatologist or something like that. And she said to me, oh my God, with your medical file, you should be dead, and you shouldn't be able to talk to me the way you are. And I said, I know, I've been doing, I've been down gates of hell that nobody's ever come back from, and I've got stories to tell about coming back and how to do it and how to help the families, and that it's even possible. I just wish I could get to Bruce Willis's family and share this information to the world, and eventually I will. I'm getting ready. But I was friends with Robin Williams and Susan Williams, and I saw them the week before Robin died, and they misdiagnosed him, and they misdiagnosed a lot of people. And the thing about Zhineng Qigong is you don't really need a diagnosis. So in other words, they were giving me Aricept, Namenda, and the Eslam patch, all this pharma that they give you, just throwing darts, which is like pouring gasoline on a fire, because it's all contra. And that's what happened with Robin Williams. They gave him Parkinson's medications, diagnosed him with Parkinson's, when in fact he had Lewy body dementia, which that medication was contra. So, people think he died from depression, but probably the wrong medication and the wrong diagnosis would be more accurate. So I really feel, because I've gotten well enough, that my doctors, this rheumatologist that I just saw, she said, I've already taught some classes in Marin with another friend that healed Parkinson's at Kaiser before I came to Hawaii. And Qigong and the teachings and the practice and what we're doing in my groups, it changes your destiny. And I've ended up now in Hawaii. My granddaughter is in her last year of high school, and I've been able to be involved, even in spite of this severe accident, supporting and being supported by my family just a few blocks away. And it's just miraculous, like, for them to even watch me go through this whole accident, zero medication, and get better and better and better, and have functionality that I've been told I'm not supposed to have. So the rheumatologist asked me to start teaching at Kaiser, and she said, I could give you medications right now to suppress some of the symptoms that you have. And she said, but they're all going to have side effects, and what you're doing is really working. So whatever you're doing, you need to really start teaching it. And so this has really inspired me. A little ahead, I'm not finished with my own healing journey, and I might not ever be, but I, for sure, I improve all the time, even when it looks like I'm going down into another purification and crash and burn, which is what happened right before these kidneys got healed, and was the last thing I ever expected. But I have techniques and technology and practice, and I work deeply with teachers, and I share everything freely. You can come and try some of my Kelli Zooms, and we all pay tuition to the teachers, but there's just miracles, so many miracles, and so many healing, beautiful stories about relationships, and having frontal temporal dementia destroy everything in my life, all my material things, all of my personal relationships, who and what I was, and my family relationships. Like, really, I hated people that I loved, and I hated them with a passion. I mean, just frontal. It's inexplicable. And I don't feel that way. I've totally transformed everything, and through daily practice and being of service to others and really diligently working this. So I have walked through the fire, and I continue to, and I just want to put it out there that there is a way, and if there's anything that I could do to support people to catch this wave of this real medicine and this real healing, it does take some time, but anything that could reverse these irreversible and break this paradigm of the Western medical model, which is failing. It's saying there's nothing you could do to reverse the kidneys. Well, I did. And they're saying there's nothing you could do to reverse gastroparesis, and I did. And they say it's impossible to reverse chronic autoimmune hives, and accidentally I did. And then I shouldn't have this functionality with my arms with what I have going on here, and I do. And I've gained my ability to walk and eat, and I don't choke on everything, and I used to have to slide and crawl to the bathroom, and I could tell you nightmare stories, and you don't need to hear it, but you can see there's a big contrast. Anyway, I'm super, super humbly grateful to Dr. Peng, who started the Medicine-less hospital in China with 200,000 case studies of improvements on incurables. And you could go look at my website. There's somewhere in there some old studies, and it's way more updated right now. It's recognized through the Chinese universities, but you need to really get with a good teacher and somebody that has been there already, behind them, because my group is just amazing. I have people that were my teachers when I came in my classes, and I have people that have had a lot of other conditions have the same exact outcome, which is, one of my very closest Chi buddies. We've been working together for many, many years, and he was in leg braces and practicing with leg braces, just destined for a wheelchair, and now he hikes all the time. So it takes a long time, but we're here together, and we support each other, and I just am so happy to bring good information. So it's almost 2026. And I was diagnosed at 48. I was supposed to be dead by 51, and I'm 62 now. So I feel like I'm just getting started, and I hope that I can take you along the journey and at least give you hope, or maybe, how to care for your loved ones when they're that catatonic, or what they may be going through, because even though I couldn't talk at the time and I was catatonic, I still knew what was going on. I don't know if that's the case for everyone, but I have a lot of inside scoop, and more than that, I have this Zhineng, which is the wisdom and the ability to really transform from the gates of death and the gates of hell back to the pure baby heart and our one heart, and this pure energy, to work with this pure energy and move, even if you just do it with your body or your mind. You don't have to move your body. So no matter what stage you're at, I work with a lot of people since I've had all the ALS symptoms, and now I don't have any, besides a little crunchiness in this arm. But I couldn't move. I was like down when I was listening to Qigong, and I was moving in my mind. So no matter what stage you or your family's at, if you have a little bit of willingness, even just to turn it on when you feel like crap, it's miraculous. And at least for this now moment, it's an upgrade. So you can't lose, it's just fantastic. So my prayer is that everyone has a beautiful holiday for 2025 to 26. And the year of the horse is coming here, And there's so much beauty around that. And I've got so many other, so much science and evidence about my old brain scans and what they think about me now. And maybe I'll even get more brain scans, and I'll be bringing this, to the masses in the future. I definitely know that I've got a story to share, and an ability, and like I always say, healing is just a side effect. So at least a way to bring someone into a loving chi field, and to contribute to an upliftment, even just for this moment. So if you lower your expectations, you always increase your performance. So I don't want anyone to come in here with this high level expectation. I'm leading by example, and I'm showing what's possible, even though I didn't know it was possible. I just did it because it was better than laying there dying. Both of them are hard, and then you pick your hard, and one has an outcome that kind of uplifts other people and brings light, and all of a sudden people, after years of doing it, all these things just start falling off. And we don't do it because of these things anymore. We do it because it's really fulfilling our purpose, and again, always changing destiny. So I hope that this message brings all of the intention of the pure heart, and the Zhineng Qigong wisdom and ability to really develop ourselves. It's what we came here to do, and to return to our true self. And that's the real big picture. So it's all a cover job, everything looks like this, but then it's really like that. Like things look like it was COVID, but then we all got to train with these teachers that wouldn't train online before that. Or it looks like frontal temporal dementia, but then now it's a healing story. And it looks like this, but underneath it looks like an e-bike accident, but underneath it there's so many miracles. And I wouldn't have ever gone back to the medical industry to have them tell me, we think we could change your diagnosis, because they are not full of good information, and I wouldn't go unless I had to. And you get caught up in there, and all they want to do is put on medication. They don't tell you about eating healthy, or changing your daily habits, or how to really change the invisible, which creates the visible, and how to clean up everything through information. Anyway, I could go on with all the tools, but I'm not going to take your time. I'm just going to give you all the hope and love, and say over and out, and mahalo and aloha. So Huan Yan Ling Tong, and hala means it's already good. So blessed and honored to bring this message to you, and gather it back to me, and sprinkle it out to everyone. Much love.